Today on Monkey Life, a new baby woolly, but it looks like the care team will have to be mum.
It's almost the exception to the rule that you can never get them to take them back again. It does happen sometimes, but really, no.
And it's moving day for the slow loris.
That was the perfect catch-up. It was a bit slow, but they're slow loris, so that's kind of expected.
Plus, ring-tailed lemur Al gets to meet some of the gang. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I think this one's a little boy, and I think that that one over there might be an older lady.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. It's early morning and the woolly monkey care team have arrived to a bit of a shock. Overnight, young female Ayla from Chippy's group has given birth. But the new mum has abandoned her baby. He's discovered lying on the playroom floor.
Got in there, saw that he was still moving, obviously still alive. Ayla was fine, she seemed perfectly happy in herself. Obviously wanted to check her over as well. Then our main focus was to clear everybody out so we could get in there and get the little chap out.
With no idea what time Ayla gave birth or how long the baby had been lying on the floor, the team acted quickly, scooping up the newborn and wrapping him up to keep warm. After a quick check-over, next on the list was to try and get the baby to take fluids. No one knows why Ayla has rejected her baby. She's had a good role model to study in mum Pequita, who recently gave birth to son Cassius. But this is Ayla's first baby, and every new woolly mum reacts differently to childbirth. The new arrival is huge, 60 grams heavier than any other woolly the team have had to hand rear.
So I'd say congratulations, but I don't know that this is actually a joyous time.
This isn't Alison's first experience of woolly mums rejecting their babies.
So can I have a look-see? Little boy for sure?
Pretty sure. You can see.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you guys aren't prepared to commit.
Yeah.
She's previously hand-reared 4 others at the park.
Has he made any noises?
Just lots of squawking noises.
Yeah.
Alison checks the infant over.
He's perfect. His hands are wicked strong. Look at, he's already... So he's totally fine. I know, not happy, but fine.
Getting the baby to take on fluids and milk via a small pipette to start with is most important for its survival.
It's just such a struggle.
I just want to get that last drop in and then I'll call it a day and we'll warm your pad and you can go to sleep.
If all goes well in the next 24 hours, the team might try to reintroduce the baby to Ayla. She may have calmed down enough following the trauma of giving birth for her maternal instincts to kick in. But Alison isn't optimistic.
Once a female dumps her baby on the floor and walks away, it's almost the exception to the rule that you can never get them to take them back again. It does happen sometimes, but really, no.
The more likely scenario is that the infant will have to be hand-reared by the team at the park for at least 5 months before he can rejoin the group.
It's been a tough day. You're a little bit battered and bruised, little man.
Oh.
And just like any newborn, he will need constant care and attention.
It'll be a long night with frequent feeds, I expect, but you don't know. You know, he's quite well developed. He's got teeth already. He's been born teething. So it might be that he's prepared to take slightly more fluid and then have longer periods of sleep. I'll let him dictate what he's gonna do for now. It's day one and he doesn't have to have any kind of schedule. So we'll wait and see. Is he gonna be a nice baby or a fidgety baby? And yes, that's gonna be for us to work out overnight.
It's been a couple of months since the primate care team in charge of the Capuchins carried out a big house swap. Leader Tao was moved from his large enclosure at the Capuchin complex to join a smaller group of just 4 girls, previously led by Winslow. Accompanying him was Archie, who, like Tao, has mobility problems. Winslow headed in the opposite direction, taking on Tao's old group and all the flirty females that go with it. Last time he was in charge of a large group, Winslow was ousted by his half-brother, who took over. This is his big chance of being leader of a mixed troop once again.
He's constantly take quite a big knock from sort of when he was forced out of Franco's group, and although he was a bit more confident here, it was a very different setup. He seems to be getting there and re-establishing himself, and he is a lot more like the old Winslow, we know, and he's sort of very busy, and he's always on the move and just sort of keeping an eye out on everything in his group.
Today, Tao's new small gang are getting a tasty treat: frozen banana and custard pine cones with live mealworms. The outside area has been especially adapted to cater for both Tao and Archie's limited mobility, making it easier for them to go where they want. Rachel's making sure that there's plenty to go around for all 6 Capuchins, also taking into account their individual preferences.
They're for Archie. Archie likes to be up high, so you've got to make sure that some of them go up there for him.
Archie is first out and, true to form, heads up high to enjoy his in peace. Tao watches Sophia banging her cone in an attempt to dislodge the treat, while Ginger carefully picks out the frozen custard using her fingers. Maggie shows off her agility, but Tao takes the easy option, foraging for worms on the ground. He's accompanied by Sophia, who has a bit of a crush on him.
He definitely has less pressure on him up here. He doesn't have to move around quite so much. He hasn't got to worry about the boys next door as a threat. It's a lot quieter for him. Tao is still struggling with his mobility. It's something we are monitoring regularly and doing everything we can for him. We obviously kitted the house out, especially for Tao and Archie, with lots of ramps and new low-level slides and just trying to make everything a lot easier for him.
But the 4 girls are loving having Tao as their alpha male. They were with him for a time back at their previous enclosure, but being low rankers, never got a look in. But now they're the only females on the block and are intent on making the most of it.
Sometimes when the females are flirty, they can be a bit full on with him, and he can't quite take the sort of the taps and the pushes and the slaps that Winslow could, and so he's doing all right. But yeah, we're just hoping that being in the sort of smaller area with less pressure and less stress, that he's just not exerting himself quite as much as he was.
And it seems that across the way, Winslow's also having trouble with over-attentive girls. He's lost his tufts thanks to the females tagging him to grab his attention, and then grooming him just a bit too much. It's a bit of a balancing act trying to get the social makeup of these groups just right. But for now, things are looking positive, and everyone seems settled and content. At the park's new loris complex, it's a big occasion as the 5 new primates from Hong Kong reach the end of their quarantine period. 2 are about to leave for a new home at the Sheldon Wildlife Trust in Devon, while another female, Boo, will be heading back from there to Monkey World to be paired up with one of the Hong Kong males. Sheldon is the smallest zoo in the world and specialises in looking after and breeding a number of endangered species, including red-ruffed lemurs and yellow-breasted capuchins. The zoo has now also set up a breeding programme for slow loris, in collaboration with other centres in Europe.
It's no use anymore just having a breeding population of animals within a zoo or within a number of zoos. We have to work together in many different ways. And so that's where the collaboration with ourselves and Monkey World and a number of other people are so vital in the success of this project. If things are going the way they are now and loris become even more endangered, we're at the risk of losing them forever. So without this population that has a healthy genetic base, we really could see the end of loris from the wild.
The problem is the long-standing black market trade in loris smuggled from the wild to be kept as pets, like all those at Sheldon and Monkey World.
We had our first loris handed in to us many, many years ago, which was Doris. And at the time, we really didn't know very much about their needs. And it was only from having Doris that we began to learn about the needs of loris. And that really has developed over the years, and we've become much more knowledgeable. We've become much more holistic in our approach, working with others. And now it's really taken this long to decide that this is where we need to go with this species and its conservation.
For the last 2 years, Sheldon have been looking after and rehabilitating Boo, a female loris Alison rescued from the Maldives. When Boo was saved, she was in a dreadful state, frightened and malnourished. But since then, she's transformed into a very healthy loris.
She settled in really well when she came. It took her a while to sort of get used to her surroundings. Being in a really small cage for so long in the Maldives didn't really help. I mean, I remember when she first came and she was so dark in her colour, which isn't like a regular slow loris at all. She's got this lovely sort of white kind of creamy texture over her shoulders now, with the sort of distinctive slow loris stripe down her back, so she's come along really well with the right supplements and everything. She's like a proper loris now.
And so it's time for Boo to head back to Monkey World and meet Bruce, her prospective mate. Tina and Marley, another pair from Hong Kong, will travel in the opposite direction. It's always hard to say goodbye to an animal you've grown to love.
Although we'll be sad to see Boo go, it's better for her, and she's a lovely animal, so we're rooting for her to get on with Bruce. So yeah, really exciting time for her.
It's a short journey from Sheldon to Dorset, but for the loris, it could be the start of something big in the future conservation of their species. A few weeks ago, ring-tailed lemur Al was rescued from a home in Somerset and brought to Monkey World in quite a distressed state. He'd been without food for days, and his lemur companion had died. The care team were worried about Al and decided to introduce him to a friend to help him settle. Female lemur Kaya came to join him. He's now being given a clean bill of health and seems more settled. Long term, the aim is for him to live with the whole lemur colony at Malagasy, but that will take time. For now, the team have lined up 3 of the gang from there to meet him. They are dominant female Fennel, dominant male Indiana, and Renton, one of the low rankers. Today, the team are taking Al and Kaya over to Malagasy for Al's first visit to what will, hopefully, become his future home. The introductions will take place in an outdoor but enclosed area, where the staff can easily keep an eye on the lemur's progress.
Lemur intros can be awful if they go wrong. Lemurs have got very, very sharp teeth, and they will bundle, so when one joins in, the others may think they need to back up that one, and you can end up with multiple lemurs attacking one lemur. They can get a serious injury in seconds. So they are difficult and they are tense, but when it works and you get them all together, then they treat life. That's where they want to be.
To combat any serious possible damage, Karen has a cunning plan.
With lemurs and with a lot of animals, their sense of smell is vital. Prosimians more than some of the larger primates. So what we're trying to do is basically blanket them all in talc so they all have the same scent, so they're not going to necessarily realise there's a newbie in the camp when they smell everybody. But also, it's also kind of a distraction technique. They're going to spend a lot of time trying to get rid of this, so it kind of keeps them busy instead of, again, focusing on the new fella.
With Fennel, Indiana and Renton all talked up, it's time to let the introductions begin. Al and Kaya have been let outside first and are already busy exploring. Kaya seems really happy to be back in her old stomping ground, but Al is understandably more cautious. This is a big deal for him. The team have no knowledge of his past. He may never have had such a big space to move around in before. Karen allows him plenty of time to settle and familiarise himself with his surroundings before meeting the others. Al takes his time sniffing around and scent marking before the team decide to let dominant female Fennel into the mix.
Oh, they're grooming. Kaya and Fennel are okay.
The two females are pleased to see each other, but Al, sensibly, keeps his distance. When Fennel does approach him, Al submissively moves away. So far, so good. Al seems to be following correct lemur etiquette, and Fennel is calm around him. But how will dominant male Indiana react to Al?
Ready? Yeah.
At first, he doesn't even notice him.
Boy, Indy.
But he's not given much chance. He's kept busy trying to avoid Kaya's attentions. She's trying to assert her dominance and is inadvertently distracting Indiana away from Al.
This is not what I expected to happen. It's Kaya. Poor Indiana.
Whatever her strategy, it seems to be working. The introduction goes without incident, and Al is left well alone. Last but not least, low-ranker Renton is let out.
Kaya and Renton have a history of being sometimes a little bit difficult with each other, so obviously she's come in and been quite focused on Indiana, so we're hoping that because she's quite relentless at the moment, potentially adding in Renton would help disperse her attention between the two. The good thing is that no one seems to be focused on Al, which is great. So we'll obviously see what happens.
Renton's in.
Renton has a very close relationship with Fennel, who often acts as his personal bodyguard. With Kaya still more interested in chasing Indiana around, Renton is able to take things easy. Meanwhile, Al is still keeping his head down and generally being pretty cautious around the others. A good technique, it seems.
Al is actually being very clever. He's being submissive to everyone he meets, which is the best way to be. He obviously doesn't know their strengths. He doesn't know where they are in the hierarchy. He doesn't know how many more he's got to meet. He doesn't know anything, really, but he's doing everything right at the moment. So, fingers crossed, massively. Yeah, day by day, it's all we can take it. So far, today's gone well, so it's a good sign.
It's moving day for the park's loris. Nick Dunn from Sheldon Wildlife Trust in Devon has arrived with Boo, a female slow loris the team are hoping will settle down with Bruce, who's staying at the park. But heading back to Sheldon will be established pair Tina and Marley. To prepare for Boo, the team have completely rebranched one of the bedrooms with plenty of shelter and browse. She'll be given time to settle in before being introduced to prospective mate Bruce.
We've put in loads of perching for her so she feels comfortable to move around because, of course, she'll be in a new environment, so it's important that she's comfortable. Also, when I've worked with Boo before, I know that she's loved being in really dense areas. I know at Sheldon Wildlife Trust she likes to hide in a big bush, so what we've done is we've put in quite a lot of browse in there for her so she can hide away as much as she wants.
But first, they need to entice Tina and Marley into their travelling crates for the journey south. Loris are nocturnal animals, so the team are working in the dark with low-level red lighting. Loading slow loris isn't an easy job. For the last few days, the crates have been left in the bedrooms with treats inside for them to get used to. Hopefully, this will speed up the process. Marley doesn't need any encouragement.
Just as we've been preparing to start putting food in the boxes to tempt them in, Marley's gone into a box, so that's brilliant. So we've shut him in, We're just going to cut the box down now and take it out, and then we'll try Tina. Okay, one down.
Tina, however, demonstrates why they're called slow loris. She takes her time. It's a waiting game for Karen and Hannah, and they resort to a bit of bribery to entice Tina into the box, using live locusts. The temptation proves too much, and with very little drama, she's in.
Marley went into a crate before we even started trying to get him into a crate, which was fabulous. And Tina was a bit slow, but they're slow loris, so that's kind of expected. But yeah, we put a few locusts in there and she tootled her way in. Yeah, really good.
Now the two departing loris are safely boxed up, it's time to release Boo into her new home.
Hello, are you ready to come out?
Boo is smaller than the other loris at the park, but a lot healthier than when she was first rescued from the Maldives in a very poor state. The male loris she's going to be paired with, Bruce, is larger, but hopefully not so much that Boo will find him intimidating. For now, he's in a bedroom opposite, while Boo finds her feet in her new surroundings.
Hello, Boo-Belicious.
Hey, Boo-Boo. All right. Okay. Yeah, she's good. She's been exploring everywhere. Wow. And she is bigger than when she left here.
Oh yeah, I think so. She's filled out a lot.
All we can do now is look to the future and hopefully create a lovely pair here. They'll have companionship for the rest of their lives, hopefully, and hopefully they'll get on well. And in the future, if that all goes well, then potentially there'll be some babies. But yeah, it's one step at a time, really. We'll see how well she settles in, and then we'll start the intro slowly. But fingers crossed, everything will go well, and we'll have a nice pair, and they'll have some friends.
And for Tina and Marley, it's a short journey with Nick to their new home in Devon. The culmination of 2 years of joint planning in the fight to protect this unique nocturnal primate from extinction. Today on Monkey Life, can new woolly monkey mum Ayla be persuaded to accept her newborn baby?
Good girl. Excellent.
Oh!
Chimp Jester gets a health check.
He's an older chimp, and he might just be changing, as you'd expect an older chimp to change.
And golden-cheeked gibbons Peanut and Pung Yo enjoy a seasonal treat. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
We've really done everything we can to make her journey as smooth as possible.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. It's been 24 hours since woolly monkey Ayla gave birth to her first offspring. Unfortunately, she rejected the new baby boy, leaving him on the floor of the playroom where he was found by the care team. They kept him warm and topped up with fluids.
Are you gonna wake up with your eyes open? Hello, man. Oh.
Alison, who has plenty of experience looking after rejected baby woolies, took him home. After a night of feeds and nappy changing, the new infant is doing well enough for the team to try and convince Ayla to accept him. They're going to reintroduce mum and baby in the hope that Ayla's maternal instincts will kick in and she'll scoop him up.
To be quite honest, I don't think she's going to, and I don't... It's tragic. I could magic anything, wiggle my nose and make it happen. It would be for Ayla to take him back, for her sake as well as his. So it's not ideal. It's not ideal for him or for her.
The team have prepared one of the bedrooms in the woolly house, covering the floor with a thick layer of straw.
Okay? Yes.
The plan is to put the baby into the room and, once he's settled, let Ayla in. The hope is she'll understand what to do.
All yours, my friend.
The rest of the Woolly family have been given outside access, while Ayla has been separated in an adjoining bedroom. Emily carefully places the baby Woolly on a bed of straw on the floor, so if Ayla picks him up, there's a soft floor beneath.
Okay.
Ready?
I guess.
With the infant calm and settled, Ayla slowly makes her way in.
Good girl.
But instead of going to the tiny bundle on the ground, she stays up on the platform. Alison tries to tempt her down with some grapes.
Good girl. Excellent.
Eventually, Ayla reaches out, but not for her baby. She's more interested in the treats on offer and ignores the infant crying out for mum. Then, without a backward glance, she heads back to the bedroom next door.
Didn't go that well. I mean, there was nothing negative, no aggression or anything like that. She kind of looked around. We did dot a few bits of food kind of near the baby just to encourage her to go down to that area. But to be honest, I think her interest was solely just about the food and the extra treats that we'd put in there.
But there is one final hope for the new arrival. The group has a fantastic mum, Xingu. She's successfully raised 2 little ones, the youngest being Olivia, who, at just 1 year old, is still being fed by her mother. The team have decided to introduce the newborn baby to Xingu. They hope she'll show enough interest to scoop him up and become a surrogate mum.
Okay, here we go.
Xingu comes straight in, followed by little Olivia. Both are immediately attracted by the sight and sounds of the tiny Woolly on the floor. For a moment, things look hopeful. But Xingu and Olivia are simply checking out the food and start foraging. Olivia's curiosity eventually gets the better of her, and she goes in for a closer look at the baby. But she soon rejoins her mum in the next door bedroom. The team have exhausted all possibilities of settling the baby in the group. There's only one option left.
Now it comes down to us really for the next few months. Take the little man on, obviously rear him, make sure he's healthy and happy as he grows up, and then slowly and gradually we'll start doing some introductions with the house that we're going to introduce him into. And yeah, just take it day by day really.
So for the next few months, this little Woolly's future is in the hands of the care team. He'll grow and develop with their help before being reintroduced to his Woolly family when the time is right. Fortunately for this new arrival, it's something the staff have lots of experience of.
Boy, it's 2 meals. You know.
This is the 5th woolly monkey the team have hand-reared in recent years.
That's 1 meal.
And they've all had a share in the work, including Mike, who was part of the care team for baby number 3, Diego. All the youngsters are bottle-fed milk until old enough to be introduced to solids.
Look at that. How's about that?
Baby number 4, Bueno Jr., is a great example of how the care team can step in to give abandoned youngsters a great start in life. He was delivered by emergency C-section following his mum Sarah's difficult labour. After his ordeal, Alison had to use some vigorous stimulation to get the newborn breathing properly for himself. Bueno Jr. then took up her full attention, with Alison taking him home for weeks of feeds and nappy changing.
Good little man.
The care team took it in turns to help out. 4 years on, Bueno Jr. has grown into a handsome young man and is flourishing.
He's fitted into the group really well. He has really good relationships with the other individuals in there, so his socialisation skills have come on leaps and bounds. And he's just one of the group. He's a loving individual. He's quite comical. He's a bit of a joker and a silly monkey, so he loves nothing more than having a giggle and a play. But he's just slotted into the group really well, and we couldn't be happier with how he's progressed.
And despite being reared by the care team, Bueno Jr. has fitted in well with young males his age, who grew up with their own woolly parents.
The other young lads in the group, Manny and Enzo, they clearly get on as well because they're kind of on the same wavelength. So, you know, they're all here to have a good time and have a good play. Junior's kind of, you know, a great example of getting them back in with the group really early, and he has just become another woolly monkey. So we're really pleased with how he's developed, and we couldn't be happier.
The signs are good that all the team's experience will give their 5th baby woolly monkey the best possible chance at becoming part of a woolly group.
It's that kind of nerve-wracking time where we want to make sure that we take everything nice and slowly with him and we just do everything right. But we have done it before, and just seeing how Bueno Jr. has turned out and how well he is doing now in the group does fill us with more confidence that hopefully this one's going to go as well and we're going to get it right again.
At the Stumpy house, it's been a few weeks since new arrivals Toto and Freddy were introduced to the 8 other grumpy monkeys. And now they're living as one, almost harmonious group.
Things have settled down quite nicely at the Stumpy house. These guys are quite grumpy, they're quite feisty, bringing new boys in, especially when these guys have been together for so long, so their alliances are really solid. We knew we were going to get some fights and some scuffles, but it's been quite sort of nice how quickly the fighting settled down. And although we do still have, you know, bouts of shouting at each other, that's kind of Stumpies anyway, we're not quite at a fully functional, you know, everybody getting along group yet, but we're definitely taking some steps towards that.
With the warmer weather, the Stumpies have got 24-hour access outside. If things do get out of hand, the individuals have an escape route until things calm down. Today, the group are going to be given a healthy treat, fresh herbs, to stimulate their taste buds and their sense of smell.
They have had some herbs in the past, but there's a real sort of selection of smells. They sort of smell quite strong. So I'm hoping that they're going to be really interested in them. Obviously, they're all edible as well, so something for them to nibble on. Because it is just herbs, you know, it's not high calorie, so it's a nice sort of low-cal snack for these guys. But we'll see how much interest that they show. Noreen, Sam, Kelly!
Fresh herbs are rarely on the menu, and the Stumpies are curious. There's plenty of interest, touching and smelling, but not much in the way of eating. Although top girl Kelly has taken a liking to a clump of basil. Charlie, on the other hand, displays a preference for parsley. While new boy Freddy is tempted by fresh chives. But Toto doesn't seem overly impressed with the coriander. Toto's a magnificent-looking macaque and could possibly be younger than the other boys in the group, which includes leader Sam, long-term housemate Jonathan, and Freddy, who arrived with Toto from Belgium. With age and looks on his side, the team expected him to become top dog.
We thought Toto might just sort of steamroll in and kind of take over the group. It's not really happened that way. Unfortunately for Toto, he has all of the brawn but none of the brains. He's not really got the sort of social know-how to go around making friends with the females and try and get some allies and kind of play it sensibly. So for the moment, it is still Sam that's kind of holding on to the group brains.
The fresh herbs have been both a hit and a miss. But whether they like them or not, the enrichment did at least get the stumpies active and using their minds.
When you try new things with these guys, you never know if they're going to be really excited or if they're not going to be too bothered, but it's always important to give them sort of new stuff to have a look at. And it has brought people out and about to have a look, if nothing else. Not quite the excitement and the big foraging frenzy that I'd perhaps hoped for, but it's kind of what you get with stumpies.
At the bachelor chimp enclosure, staff have become worried about Jester. In the last few weeks, he seems to have lost weight and is drinking excessive amounts of water. They've asked vets John Lewis and Dave Harding to come in and check him over.
He's an older chimp, and he might just be changing as you'd expect an older chimp to change. But there are concerns about some aspects of his health, so we're going to have him down, take blood samples, good clinical examination, do some ultrasound, etc., and try and get a comprehensive idea of his health status.
Jester is 35 years old, getting on for a chimp, and came to the park in 1992 along with 8 others from Windsor Safari Park. Although he's a fit-looking chimp, he suffers badly from a skin complaint and has regular medication to treat the condition. But the team have other concerns too.
He's had a lot of sugar in his urine, but that may or may not be an indication of diabetes. Now, there are other things which put sugar in the urine, including some medications he's been on. So we're hoping to put a lot of concerns to bed, to be honest, but we'll see.
All the apes at the park have been trained to take injections from one of the primate care staff. Cara gives Jester his anaesthetic, and then it's a case of waiting for the drug to take effect. It doesn't take long. Jester is quickly loaded into a secure travel crate for the short journey to the park's hospital. As soon as Jester is delivered safely to the hospital, the team take the opportunity to weigh him.
67.5. 67.5.
Once Jester is on the table, John works quickly.
You have to watch out very carefully for salivation, because they do a lot of that, and let's get the bloods.
He takes blood samples so Jester's kidney and liver functions can be checked, and also to rule out any sign of diabetes.
Keep them all moving, we won't get microclots in there. Right. Sorry.
With the bloods done, John can give Jester a more general health check.
We're looking really for basically wear and tear. Now, whether that's wear and tear on heart or kidneys or liver or whatever, that's really what we are looking for. Yeah, things wear out. He's not an emaciated chimp.
No.
By any means whatsoever.
Once John is happy, Dave moves in to perform an ultrasound.
Yeah, are we okay to dim the lights a little bit now? Yeah. Is that okay? Nothing obviously wrong at this stage. That's the liver there, which looks pretty normal. Limited findings on the ultrasound, everything looks pretty normal in there, mainly looking at the liver and the kidneys, really, given the symptoms. And they look absolutely, as I would expect, normal size, shape. And there's no other abnormalities looking around in there as well, so happy with that.
All the checks have been done, and so far, John is pleased.
He's a good-looking chimp. For his age, he's in good condition. But until we get the results of the blood sample, I wouldn't hazard any further guesses. But that's when we're going to review his medication, is after all those results are in.
Jester is returned to one of the bedrooms at the bachelor's house, and when he's fully recovered from the anaesthetic, he can rejoin his pals. And after a few days, it was confirmed all his blood tests were normal. The park's chimpanzees are generally a pretty lively and sometimes argumentative bunch. A recent dispute at Hananya's group resulted in low-ranking Arthur sustaining a small injury to his back.
Turn around.
The wound became infected, and the resulting abscess had to be drained by a vet and then kept clean by the care team. Now, some weeks later, Arthur's wound is all healed up, and today, in the intense heat of summer, the group are calm and relaxed. Most are having a nap when staff arrive to give them a treat, ice-cold lollies. Little Thelma is first to sample the ices. And even group leader Hananya decides they're worth getting up for. The lollies are made from water and fruit juice, and on a hot day like today, prove popular. The treat has certainly perked up young Thelma, who's on the lookout for a playmate. Sean, from the care team, has another idea to keep the chimps cool. He's rigged up a hose to spray water into their enclosure. Thelma's not sure yet, but Shamak comes to see what it's all about. A cool water shower is hard to resist, and he dives straight in. And while the others watch, the water spray seems to have brought out Shamak's silly side. He's a very bright and playful chimp, and today he's just using it for his own enjoyment. The fine mist drifting across the enclosure will also reduce the air temperature, making everyone feel more comfortable. Hananya is spending the day surrounded by his ladies. They all seem to want a bit of his attention. Being close to the alpha male not only keeps harmony in the group, but also bolsters their positions. Simon and Arthur join in the water antics and take the opportunity for a cool drink. But Thelma is enjoying a game of her own. Until, all played out, it's time for a cuddle with Mum. At the golden-cheeked gibbon enclosure, Peanut and Pung Yo are getting a seasonal treat. Abdi from the primate care team has arrived with armfuls of cherry browse, laden with succulent leaves and juicy ripe berries. The browse is mixed in with apple wedges and spread out in baskets and on perches around the enclosure. Some are placed high up in the treetops to encourage the gibbons to feed at height, as they would in the wild. As always, it's female Peanut who's first off the mark. She loves her food, and cherries are a rare treat. Luckily, there are plenty to go round, and her long-term partner Pung Yo manages to get his share today. But he wisely finds his own space to enjoy the fruit before Peanut comes looking for more. Peanut and Pung Yo have been together for 15 years. In the wild, golden cheeks pair for life. They were rescued separately, Peanut from a British bird smuggler and Pung Yo from the black market trade in Taiwan. Once at Monkey World, they were paired and have since had 3 children. All the couple's offspring have now reached sexual maturity and, one by one, have left the family. Feisty Peanut is the dominant partner in their relationship. When treats are on offer, Pung Yo knows Peanut will want first pickings, so he makes way when he sees her coming. But he doesn't go hungry. He's super quick and magnificent in the trees and can easily find more. Peanut, meanwhile, is determined to empty the treetop feeder, and her long limbs and highly flexible joints make it easy for her. As they feed, both gibbons demonstrate wild behaviour by staying up high to enjoy their treat. And today, with so much fruit, both Peanut and Pung Yo are content. Today on Monkey Life, Alison and wildlife vet John Lewis visit the park's sister sanctuary in Vietnam.
I always love coming back. It's like my Vietnamese family.
Marina and Alison inspect a possible new home for golden-cheeked gibbons Nha and Cu Chi.
I think it would work well between both organizations.
Yeah, thank you.
And John battles the heat to give slow loris Batman the snip.
Job done, really.
This is Dau Tien Rescue Centre in Vietnam. It's the sister sanctuary of Monkey World in Dorset, and the staff here dedicate their lives to rescuing and rehabilitating endangered Vietnamese primates.
It's a new forest with a new family group of gibbons coming, and hopefully everybody will grow up and mature together.
It's a 6,000-mile journey from the UK to the centre, which lies 160 miles northeast of Ho Chi Minh City. Away from the hustle and bustle of the major towns and cities of Vietnam is a country steeped in tradition. With a population of over 90 million to feed, it's no wonder agriculture plays a huge part in its economy. But in recent times, tourism is starting to play a significant role too. With over 30 national parks and 6 biosphere reserves that are recognised by UNESCO, the conservation of wildlife within these areas is becoming a priority for the Vietnamese government. And Dau Tien plays no small part in protecting some of the country's most endangered species. Set up in 2008 with the full support and cooperation of the authorities, it's a 56-hectare island in the Dong Nai province. Alison makes frequent visits to the centre, and this time she's brought vet John Lewis with her. For Alison, it's always uplifting to return to the island that is so close to her heart.
The team here on Dau Tien are fantastic, and I always love coming back. It's like my Vietnamese family, and it's the beginning of what's going to be a very intense 3 or 4 days trying to achieve as much as possible while we're here to help out Marina, Lee, and their team who live here and work here diligently every day of the year.
Since Dau Tien opened, the team have rescued more than 100 primates, including golden-cheeked gibbons, black-shanked duklangers, and more recently, pygmy loris, a small nocturnal primate. But unlike Monkey World, the role here at Dau Tien is to rescue, rehabilitate, and then release the primates back into the wild. The idea is that any animals not able to be released will be found a suitable home, freeing up space for other individuals who can be released. Marina Kenyon runs the centre with her partner Lee.
This is the core of Dau Tien. We're in the centre of the island, and this is our phase 1 area for gibbons. So we have at the moment over 20 gibbons here. This is where they come in, they do quarantine, we try to get them healthy, and most importantly, we give them gibbon friends.
The phase 1 gibbons are health checked and assessed over a period of time. If they're deemed suitable and have been paired up, they can then progress to the semi-free forested areas on Dau Tien. There are 4 on the island, the largest almost 20 hectares. And it's here that the gibbons can start to build up their tree strength, getting used to swinging through the forest once again.
Gibbons are like magical creatures. They're like the ballerinas of the treetops. They move so quietly. If you're lucky enough to be in the forest at sunrise and they sing, they do this like super hyper metallic call. It's such a privilege for me to work in a forest with gibbons, and without them, it's a huge loss. So we have to work and try our best to keep them here. And it's very simple. We, humans, just need to leave them alone.
Not all of Dau Tien's gibbons make it back to the wild, however. Nha is a male gibbon who's been at the centre since the very beginning. He did make it into the semi-wild area, but the transition was problematic.
The biggest problem with Nha is that he's fearless. He's not afraid of humans. And as gibbons grow up, they get enormous canines, so he's actually quite dangerous. He would quite happily bite you if he had the opportunity. He'd be very sorry about it afterwards, but damage will already be done.
Along with his partner, Cu Chi, he's not suitable for release. A permanent home will have to be found for the pair.
We're full here to capacity. We've said we can't take any more gibbons here until we relocate some of our unsuitable for release individuals, and we're sort of trying to stick to that as best we can.
But in the meantime, Nha is about to undergo a minor operation.
I would get that pre-med into him now.
He's going to be castrated. This is primarily to stop Nha and Cu Chi breeding, but the team also hope it might calm the feisty male down. While John preps for the operation, Nha has already been given a pre-med to make him drowsy. It's a bit of a waiting game for the team, and so far the drug is showing little sign of affecting Nha. John will have to anaesthetize him the old-fashioned way.
No change of plan, and no change in the gibbon that's had the pre-med either. So we're going to go ahead and dart him.
Darting a fast-moving gibbon, even in a small enclosure, is no easy feat. But John knows from experience it's all about picking your moment. And as soon as Nha's back is turned, he takes the shot. It takes a few minutes for the drug to take effect. Nha is wobbly, but still clinging on up high in his cage. Lee is ready with the net to catch him, while John unhooks Nha's fingers from the mesh.
Ready?
Nice one.
Once John has checked him over, Nha is quickly transported to the centre's hospital. John needs to work fast. Giving primates anaesthetic is never straightforward, and in hot and humid conditions can be quite challenging for the vet team and the animal.
Well, we get another fan on him anyway, and then have the bucket of cold water ready. And I'll try and be relatively quick.
Keeping a primate's body temperature stable throughout an operation is vital.
The biggest anaesthetic risk we take really is temperature. And if they can't control their temperature, there's the risk that the body temperature will rise and rise and rise above what is acceptable. I need you to watch the breathing at all times.
For John, this is normally a straightforward procedure, but the heat and humidity have made this operation far from comfortable. With Nha being closely monitored, John locates his testes. With a snip and a couple of stitches, the operation is complete.
It's not particularly painful. He'll be on painkillers anyway, which is not because I think it's hurting him especially, it's because I don't want him fiddling with the surgical site. There's nothing more we need to do, and hopefully that'll calm him down. And that's the end of the story.
The operation went well, and once Nha is fully recovered from the anaesthetic, he can be returned to his enclosure. Nha and his mate Cu Chi may not have to wait long for a new, more permanent home. After months of research, Marina thinks she's found the perfect place for the pair to live, and she's travelled with Alison over to the mainland to check it out.
Hello. Xin chào. You too.
The Mango Garden Wildlife Centre has been running for a couple of years and looks after and cares for a number of exotic animals and birds from around the world. Marina has been consulting with them for the last few months, and the centre now has space to take in up to 3 pairs of gibbons from Duane.
This is just fantastic because after so many years, if we can find a solution for those guys that can't go back out to the wild, it would be a godsend at this point.
If all goes well, this will free up vital space on Dao Tien for the team to take in more gibbons that need rescuing, who can hopefully be released into the forested areas of Vietnam.
I think it would work well between both organizations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Marina has already made recommendations on how to fit out the enclosures with hoses and ropes, so the gibbons will be able to swing and travel high up off the ground, just like in the wild.
And what would your time frame be on this?
Well, when you say you are ready, we can come. So we just come 1 week before to prepare the internal, once the mesh is all good, and then the gibbons come.
All good,
Thank you.
I think.
The arrivals from Dao Tien will be phased in a pair at a time, although they won't be the first gibbons living at this centre.
Hey, you guys. See you, mister. It's a male and a female. The pileated gibbon, the male, if we get a chance to see him, he's just leapt to the tree behind, is actually from Cambodia. It's a species that comes only from Cambodia. So it's a little bit of an odd pairing, but at least they're together and being social and they seem to like each other.
So far, everything is looking good. It's just what Alison was hoping for.
This visit today has far-reaching effects, not just for the gibbons we're talking about, but for others that we don't even know about yet. And wow, amazing, big, beautiful cages. Really important that this works out, and I'm so pleased to see how wonderful it is. So, got everything crossed that this is going to go ahead.
The gibbons on Dao Tien need constant care and attention. Every aspect of their life, including their diet, is closely monitored by the team until a decision is made on whether they're suitable for release. And it's not just the Phase 1 primates in the assessment enclosures that need looking after.
Yeah, you go see.
In the 4 semi-free forested areas on the island, the gibbons have their food supplemented. There aren't enough of the correct fruiting trees to support them all year round. This morning, keeper Kauai is feeding golden-cheeked gibbons Limwin and Misu in the larger 20-hectare site. They're now successful parents of 2 infants, Savvy and Tai. But just 3 years ago, before they had their babies, they were released into a forested area in Cat Tien National Park, where a large, wild male gibbon heard them and attacked Limwin. He wasn't a match in size or attitude and couldn't protect himself. The team managed to retrieve the pair, and since then, Limwin has developed into a big, solid male, and the pair's bond has grown.
They're a wonderful family and they behave like wild gibbons. They travel well in the forest. So they're pretty much ready now to go full release. We're just working on finding the right area, the right level of protection, and the right tree species there.
Golden-cheeked gibbons aren't the only primates Dao Tien have successfully rehabilitated and released back into the wild. In the last few years, more than 30 lorises have gone back to the forests of Vietnam. In a short space of time, Dao Tien has now been recognized internationally as one of the world's premier rescue and release centers for this small nocturnal species.
We're learning things all of the time. What type of habitat to release in, what time of year to release in, which individuals make good candidates. And it's been a bit of trial and error. We've had losses, there's no doubt about it, but sometimes the individuals that you lose, if you're following them and taking honest, realistic data from them, you learn more from this negative information in order to prepare the next batch. So you have to take the rough with the smooth.
And rescued lorises keep on coming to the island, almost all from the pet trade. They've been stolen from the wild and then confiscated by authorities who are getting tough on illegal traders. Being asked to rehabilitate so many lorises has led to Duane building a brand new complex to house them all.
There's a lot more space for the animals, so we've actually increased their area. And for when we work, because we've designed it this way, we have a bigger working area, so it's a lot more relaxed. And it has worked with the loris are a lot calmer here compared to the old house. So yeah, it's working well.
With so many lorises to feed and look after, the team are constantly thinking and devising new ways of enrichment to keep them more active through the night.
So this is the feeder. As you can see, we've got 3 holes, and off each hole we have 2 channels. The plan is put the insect in, close the lid, that then just stops the cricket jumping out. But hopefully with these tunnels the crickets will come out, and hopefully it's a slow release. You know, they'll come onto the log. It's not directly there into the leaf. It's just a different aspect to try and get the loris to work for their food. Naturally in the wild, they're going to see a cricket. They're not always going to get it. In captivity, it's there, it's on a plate. More than likely, they're always going to eat that. So we actually have to control the amount we feed.
Not all rescue lorises that come to Duane will make it back into the wild. One such pair are Batman and Hope. Hope is the female half of the partnership, and she arrived on the island already pregnant. She's since given birth to twins, and Batman has taken all 3 under his wing.
Batman and Hope are 2 loris that have been long-term in captivity before they even came to us, and then they've been here for a wee while as well. So they're really not suitable for release. They need to be fit and healthy, yes, but they also need to be mentally prepared. And we're not convinced that Batman and Hope have that in them.
They're going to remain here at Duane, but in the new semi-wild loris area, where they can spend their days and nights up in the treetops. But before that, Batman has to undergo a minor surgical procedure. He needs a vasectomy. While the team are happy to keep the pair in the semi-wild, they don't want any more babies to look after. Space is at a premium here on the island, and it's vital there's room for the constant flow of rescued lorises coming in from the mainland. It's a first for John. He's performed vasectomies on tiny primates such as marmosets, but never a loris. The size of the animal and the hot and humid conditions he's going to have to work in could prove quite a challenge.
If I'd done 1,000 loris, I could probably cut the skin and go straight to the vas. I haven't done any loris actually, so you have to dissect your way around the area under which you've cut to locate the vas, and that's a bit more fiddly.
With Batman anaesthetised, John gets to work. But it's not easy, and locating the tiny vessel to make a cut is taking time. There are so many tiny veins and tubes, it's hard to differentiate between them all.
That feels like a vas to me.
At last, John locates the correct one.
Because it has a very muscular wall, it's rather rubbery. Now the decision now is whether we tie off both ends of it or not.
He ties the tube in 2 places and then severs between the ties. Next, he needs to repeat the procedure on the other side. But now he knows what he's looking for, it's a lot quicker.
Job done, really. And I think with jobs like that, what you really want to do is another one, not now, tomorrow morning. Because what you learnt on that, hopefully you can make the next job more efficient and quicker. Because it may be another N years before we get to do another loris.
Batman is given 24 hours to recover from the operation. The following evening, Lee prepares to move the whole family from the new loris complex to the semi-wild area.
Post-op, he's looking very well. Myself, Alison and John had a very good look at him today. So we're all happy. So this is why we're doing the move now.
They'll be put into a holding cage in the middle of the semi-wild forested area for at least 24 hours. There, they'll be able to get accustomed to the sight, sounds and smells of their new home. It's easier to move the lorises while there's still a bit of daylight and they're still sleepy. Lorises are nocturnal animals and won't come fully active until it's dark. Lee releases Hope and her 2 babies first. Still clinging to Mum, all 3 head up into the branches and leaf shelter of the holding cage.
On the other side.
Batman doesn't put up much of a fight either. Perhaps he's anxious to be reunited with his family.
Yes, looked okay.
Or still feeling sorry for himself following his operation.
There he goes.
But Lee soon has him in the semi-wild area with Hope and the 2 youngsters.
They look okay, but the one thing we need to do now is we need to go away because they are going to be stressed. Being handled, very stressful for any primate, especially loris. So we've had a quick check. They're all good. So what we'll do now, we'll move away. I'll speak to the guy who's working with them tonight, and we'll just do regular checks throughout the evening.
While Batman and Hope will be living permanently in the semi-wild area at Duane, Alison is determined it will be a very different outcome for the pair's offspring.
It's been said by other organizations that it's not possible to release loris that are born in captivity, and that it's a little bit like a red flag to a bull around here, because if those babies survive in our semi-wild and reach maturity, we will try and release them back out into the wild because they will have grown up effectively in a semi-wild habitat, and we're gonna see if we can break the cliche that a captive-born loris cannot be rehabilitated back out into the wild.
With the help and cooperation of the authorities and the hard work and dedication of the whole team at Duane, the future of this small species is starting to look a whole lot brighter. Today on Monkey Life. A wild gibbon is on the attack as Alison and the team carry out health checks at a Vietnamese national park.
OK, can we let this other gibbon through into the other enclosure?
Marina tracks a wild loris through the forest.
We're at full signal now, so we're basically there, so it's just a case of looking through all these leaves to find her.
And baby gibbon Locke finds comfort in the arms of adopted brother Duane. This is Duane Rescue Centre in Vietnam, sister sanctuary to Monkey World and overseen by its director, Dr. Alison Cronin. The staff here dedicate their lives to rescuing and rehabilitating endangered Vietnamese primates.
We know that this is a really good quality of forest and there's plenty of food out there for them.
It's a 6,000-mile journey from the UK to the centre, which lies 160 miles northeast of Ho Chi Minh City. It's early morning at Duane, and the golden-cheeked gibbons are in full song. The centre's locally based director, Marina Kenyon, has been involved in the project since its inception and has recently overseen the creation of the new semi-wild loris area. This morning, she's going to check up on the first loris family to be released there. Last night, Batman and his partner Hope, along with her 2 twins, were let out of the holding cage and into the trees in the semi-free area. The 4 lorises were soon out exploring their new surroundings and seemed quite relaxed as they tucked into the food left out for them. They were left in peace to get on with familiarising themselves with their new home. And now, Marina wants to check all 4 are still together.
They all came out incredibly confident, went up high, higher than they've ever been before in their lives. So really pleased this morning. They're actually sleeping at around 4.5 meters, which is a perfect height for loris. Mum is there with her 2 babies. She's managed to control them and bring them to her. And Batman's she's not allowed to touch them, but is centimeters away. And they're fast asleep, so perfect.
Mornings are always busy on the island. With more than 50 lorises and gibbons to feed and look after, day and night, it's been a massive undertaking, right from when the centre first opened its doors to rescued gibbons in 2008. Alison visits regularly to check on progress and help plan the next steps.
It's been 2 years since I've been back to Duane, and it's amazing. You know, our goal was always to make our conservation work here with the primates low impact. So this island and its ecology and habitat doesn't get too disrupted. And since being here, the amount of wildlife that's come to the island I find quite significant and interesting as well. We have a lot more reptiles, for better or worse, some of them friendly, some of them not so friendly. But the island's a very beautiful place, and we're pleased to call it home for our rescue and rehabilitation work.
Alison has brought wildlife vet John Lewis with her on this visit, and today, along with Lee Butler, who runs the centre with Marina, they're heading downriver to the headquarters of Capuchin National Park.
Okay, rock and roll.
At 278 square miles, Capuchin is one of Vietnam's most important and largest national parks. There are more than 100 mammal species living within the forest here, and the work at Capuchin is vital for their conservation. The park regularly receives primates rescued by the Vietnamese authorities, and almost all have been stolen from the wild. Alison, John and Lee have come over to health check 3 of them.
Good to see you. Yeah.
If the 3 gibbons prove to be healthy, they could potentially transfer to Duane for rehabilitation and, hopefully, future release back into the wild. But when Alison and the team arrive, one of the park's officials, Mr. Viet, tells them there's been a worrying development.
Oh, I see. Look, there's the wild gibbon. He's already here.
A family of wild gibbons has been terrorising the rescued gibbons housed in the cage assessment enclosures at Capuchin.
So the female was a captive one that they released, paired up with a wild male. They now have babies, so she, funny enough, is the dangerous one.
When they go to see the first of the 3 rescued gibbons awaiting a health check, the wild female is already there, clambering over the cages.
You have to get rid of it, guys. It's no good. We have to get her away.
The wild gibbon was previously rescued from captivity and then released. But having lived in captivity for so long, she shows no signs of being afraid of humans. And she's determined to let everyone know this is her territory.
We don't know anything about the new gibbons, but they need to be health checked because it's absolutely critical. If you have wild gibbons coming and interacting with potentially diseased individuals, they can share the disease and take it back out into the national park. So this is actually a really critical part of our work. Even if these individuals aren't going to be coming to us, we need to help check their health status so that the health and welfare of the animals in the national park isn't compromised. It's direct overhead. Making a big leap.
The wild female gibbon is determined to reach the others in the cages. John decides it's better and far safer for all concerned to perform the health check on his first patient, the rescued female, inside the cage rather than risk taking her elsewhere. But first, he must anaesthetize her. As he prepares to do so, Alison receives some shocking news.
The 3rd gibbon got killed by the wild female attacking her and giving her such bad injuries that she couldn't survive. So I think that was just a couple of weeks ago. The gibbon's teeth are very large and very sharp. The canine teeth are just like sabers and they can tear you apart, which is why we're all so cautious. it's tragic and sad. And right now, all of these gibbons in these cages are vulnerable to attack from that female, and she's already killed one.
Here he comes. Behind you. Oh, we've got two behind you.
Tam, come on, we need to stop talking, guys.
Go on.
It's just dangerous, you know. She's not afraid of anyone or anything, and potentially, you know, it's a big problem for John, who needs to do and concentrate on what he has to do. So we're going to try and move her away from the area with food, and then try and work as quickly as possible.
John manages to dart the female gibbon. It's now a waiting game as the drug takes effect. But the wild gibbon will not leave. The team must keep her away from the vulnerable, sedated gibbon.
She is starting to go.
She's about to go.
The anaesthetic kicks in and John can get to work. He checks her heart first. All the time, the rangers from Duane are doing their best to keep the wild gibbon at bay. Next up, a full set of bloods, vital to check she isn't carrying any disease. She needs a clean bill of health if she's going to make it to Duane and ultimately be released back into the forest.
So far, we're okay. The animal is fine. Stable under anaesthesia. We're just taking bloods. We've done the transponder. And then once we've done those two things, I'll have a closer look at the rest of her body. Her teeth are good, her mouth's fine, no problems there. Just a slightly strange heart sound, but sometimes that can be a result of anaesthesia. So I'll have a good listen at the beginning, and then I'll have a good listen at the end, and often you find that corrects itself.
Okay, guys.
The health check is complete, but the gibbon is still drowsy from the anaesthetic, and the wild female has spotted she's up and about. She moves in for the attack.
Okay, can we let this other gibbon through into the other enclosure?
You have a bigger side to defend then.
But yes, but this is all open mesh, and that's half closed mesh.
They need to get the still sedated gibbon into the larger part of the enclosure, where she'll have more room to move and evade her attacker.
Get out of it, go on!
Get going! Go on!
Finally, the wild gibbon gets the message, finds the rest of her family, and retreats back into the forest. For now.
No, he's gone. He's gone. I just saw him off in the distance. So she's just left. The male was loitering, but he's, I think, going to follow as well. So hopefully we might have a bit of an easier go of it with the male now.
Without the distractions from above, John quickly manages to dart the male gibbon, who's next for a health check. But with all the excitement going on around him this morning, his adrenaline levels may be affecting the anaesthesia. He's drowsy, but not enough for the team to step in. John decides to give him a small top-up.
You can see his eyes are... He's fighting it. Lee's in there only to catch him in case he falls. Gibbons are pretty fragile, even though they're a bit full-on. They've got teeth that can break easily in their arms, so Lee's there to catch him if he starts to fall.
And once the male is fully sedated, John moves in. This time, the health check goes smoothly. Without any of the distractions from the wild gibbon family, John is quickly able to check him over, insert a microchip, take bloods, and check his weight. He's pleased with what he's seen so far.
I mean, they're good-looking animals, both of them. The male, the dark one, is what they call subadult. He's not mature yet, but you can see his big canines coming through the gums and causing a bit of inflammation in the gums. He's teething. teething some serious teeth. But he's a typical rangy subadult male. And the female's in good condition too. We see no problems. I can't feel or detect any problems. We'll see what the blood samples show.
The team must wait for the results of the hair samples and blood tests for both gibbons before deciding on their future. It's been a full and demanding morning, but they've managed to accomplish what they set out to do under difficult circumstances. The team at Duane spend a lot of time surveying the protected areas of Vietnam. They record gibbon and loris populations and note tree species to see if they're the right fruiting varieties necessary to sustain primates that might be released there. The more information they have, the more they can prevent wildlife coming into conflict with local people and farmers. In recent months, they've been checking local coffee and cashew plantations. Marina has been getting reports of farmers finding pygmy lorises in the trees, including a location just 20 minutes from Duane.
We've been able to remap the habitat and the distribution of potential loris areas in Vietnam, and it's triple of what it initially was. So they like the grassland. In orchards, like in plantations like this, you get lots of insects as well. So it's really, really exciting. There's much more habitat available for loris. The key is that the people just need to leave them alone. And if we can work with the local people and they realise that the loris is the farmer's friend and they don't hunt them, they actually leave them because they're helping, then we have a chance.
Today, Marina, along with Mr. Dong, a keeper and tracker from Duane, and Hannah, a postgraduate student, are checking on a wild pygmy loris who's taken up residence in this cashew plantation. Chi is a middle-aged female who the team fitted with a radio collar before releasing her back into her home on the plantation. They track Chi twice a week to find her sleep site and then at night record what the loris is eating.
We hope next year to bring the local farmers onto our tracking team so they too can watch and say, oh, she's not really eating the fruit, she's focusing on the insects and all those nasty pests that hurt my crops. So the key is actually what is she doing at night, and to show the farmers that actually she's actually our friend and she's helping us.
But finding a small primate weighing less than 500 grams is not easy.
Yeah. Because there's lots of valleys and gullies, there's lots of blind spots. It proves really, really tricky to find her.
And the heat of the afternoon only adds to the difficulty.
It's really, really important we find her because we're mapping her home range, we're mapping how much space she needs as a cashew loris. And from this, then we can work out densities and what potential there is in all this plantation land for loris. So it's really important we find, even though when she goes over hills, we need to get there.
After searching for Chi most of the afternoon, Mr. Dong finally gets a signal on the tracking equipment.
She's around 30 metres away, so she's close. We're at full signal now, so we're basically there. So it's just a case of looking through all these leaves to find her. So yeah, got her.
They may be in the right area, but spotting the loris high up in the cover of the leafy treetops takes another hour. And dusk is fast approaching. But at last, they get a sighting of Chi, still fast asleep.
So now we found her. Every day we mark her sleep site. So we're just plotting her habitat, how big the home range is that she lives in. Then we make a note of the height of the tree, the species of the tree, which is cashew, the angle of the branch she sleeps on, so as much data as we can of her sleep spot. And then we just kind of sit here quietly, wait for night time to come, and then the exciting bit comes, actually trying to follow her at night and find out what she does, and importantly, what is she eating.
They're going to wait until dark, when Chi will be fully awake and alert, so that they can then monitor her movements. While Marina and the team settle down for a long night, back at Duane, the staff are preparing the night feed for the resident lorises. Mr. Hai is distributing the first of 4 feeds, spread out over 7 hours. designed to keep the lorises more active.
The loris now are active throughout the night, which is what they should do. They have their breaks and then they go off again. The nocturnal, they will eat throughout the night, so we have to replicate that.
The first feed is gum logs, followed by fruit and then live insects.
This is their rehabilitation phase 1, semi-freeze phase 2, where we actually get them out into the forest, where they're going to have to naturally hunt for insects. We supply that at the moment, so it's a big learning curve. And hopefully, you know, it all goes smoothly, and then in 2-3 months' time, we can survey an area in Capuchin National Park, make sure that's safe, there isn't a bigger population of loris there already, and then do a release.
While the lorises at Duane are enjoying their evening meal, back on the mainland, Marina and her team's wait is over. The wild pygmy loris, Chi, is on the move.
We've been following Chi now for just over 2 months, and so far the local people just think we're crazy, but they keep asking questions and we keep giving them loris gifts and talking about what we're doing. And we're just going to start doing awareness events, showing videos of our work on Duane with loris, lots of nice pictures of loris up close, and also work that other people are doing, like in Indonesia, so they become aware that actually lots and lots of people care about loris, and they're actually one of the privileged few who still have a healthy loris population close by. And together, as in different countries, in different regions, we can all work together and save them.
It's the final morning of Alison and John's trip to Duane. Vet John is just finishing a health check on 2 of the centre's smallest and youngest gibbons.
He's got full range of hip movements.
Locke and Duane, like most of the gibbons at Duane, had a terrible start in life, both stolen from the wild and separated from their mums. Female Locke, the youngest at 3 months, was rescued just days after leaving the forest. Duane, a male, is older at just over a year. He was discovered via a social media site after photographs were posted of him as a baby, tightly swaddled, something which stunted his growth.
When he arrived here, he didn't even know how to use his arms and reach out, and for a gibbon, it's just unimaginable that they wouldn't know how to use their arms, and we're trying to turn that around here at Duane.
But now he's just had his health check and his body is moving as it should, although he's still a little on the small side. For the last 3 months, the team have been hand-rearing Locke. But it's important for primates to have others of their own kind as companions. And whilst they don't usually try to introduce gibbons to each other when they're this young, the team decided to give it a go. Now the duo aren't just spending their days together. For the last week, the team have started leaving Locke overnight with Duane as well.
Now they are inseparable. She's just adoring having this contact. He doesn't know it, but he's her mum, he's her dad, he's her everything. So our next step is that Duane actually isn't really the best teacher for Locke on how to be a gibbon. So in the future, we're going to have to look for that surrogate mum for both of them to show them how to be gibbon.
But for now, the pair are just going to have to learn from Marina and the keepers, who are keen to offer them different and new forms of enrichment. Today, they're being given crickets and mealworms as an alternative to fruit. It's all part of their journey back to the wild, something that could take this pair at least 5 years.
What we have to do is to get them in the trees as soon as possible and further away from humans. But at this point, Duane and Locke still have a chance. Everyone always has a chance, and we just have to try to make it come true.